Yeah, first, please tell us something about your musical education.
I grew up in Australia, playing music in different bands and touring the world, doing all of that. And I guess while I was doing that, I was at home making music that was, I guess, more like kind of film music, just for myself, not for any kind of sort of, didn't have any ambition. I enjoyed film. I liked film composing. I liked film music, but it wasn't something that I was thinking of doing. I just enjoyed making music. Yeah, and then subsequently, my brother, who's a film director, had been doing a lot of film clips and things like that with my band. He's made his first film, and he'd heard a lot of this music that I was making, and asked me to do his film. So that was my I think, jumping off point.
Who is your favorite film music composer?
God, I mean, Morrikone's, obviously has a huge stamp on composing. So I like his. I also like a lot of. There's a lot of films where it's just, I don't know, an artist outside of film composing has done a score that I really like. That it's a one-off kind of thing. There's a lot of those that I really like too. I like Tom Waits' score for the Jarmusch film, Not on Earth. I really like what the Pogues did on a few scores. I guess Michael Nyman's stuff as well can be considered in that too. Neil Young's score for Dead Man is really beautiful. These are all smaller kind of scores. And I also, I also appreciate the bigger stuff from John Williams. It's kind of go on and on.
Yeah, what is for you the fascination of film music?
I think it's about adding something that the other disciplines are not able to add. Music can add another layer that is unique and can't be captured within cinematography, but I think where music comes in terms of you have your film shot, you can look at it, you can sort of hear the sound of it, you can see it, but then music adds this other thing, and where it comes in that line, I think is it's incredibly potent what it can bring. But I think it's just there saying something that can't be done in all the other disciplines.
In general, what is inspiring you?
In general, just in life, I'm inspired by kind of everything, whether it's just sort of music or I can read books or see artwork. I mean, anything can be sort of inspiring. I mean, I was only in Australia recently, back home, but I live in the UK, but I was incredibly inspired by the landscape there, which was something that I'd become quite nonchalant about when I lived there. So yeah, anything inspired by my children would be great.
And yeah, what do you think is the best thing about composing?
I think it's when it's really working, and you're part of a team that each different discipline is bringing something kind of original, and they're forcing you also to step up. And when all those disciplines come together to make something really unique, that's I think what you're always chasing something that allows you to do something that's unique and kind of breaks the form a little.
Yeah, is there something that makes it less fun for you?
I think the deadlines, definitely. But they can also be a great thing as well. I guess if we didn't have deadlines, we could work on things forever. And I think if you didn't have deadlines, you probably would end up destroying really good work that you thought was bad at the time. That's actually good.
You mentioned that you work often with your brother. So yeah, how would you describe to work with him?
Well, I mean, we kind of have the luxury of arguing without it becoming a toxic kind of relationship. We can kind of argue as brothers and then not talk to each other for an hour and then come back and apologise and keep going through. But we kind of have the luxury of being able to tell each other when we don't like their work or when we really love it. And I think it's invaluable because it means that we're just kind of pushing through all the crap and just going straight to the core of whether something's working or whether it's not.
And and you work on Assassin's Creed, and I'm a big fan of the game series, but I haven't seen the film yet. Could you recommend it?
Yeah, I got to see it, don't I? got to see everything, and all films are good.
And so, what can you tell about the movie, or the work on that movie?
Well, it was a long process, and I guess sort of my first foray into a film of that kind of budget. So yeah, I mean, all the pressures of that were completely new, and the process that you go through to make music for a film like that, you know, it's definitely also those kind of films have a lot more music in them than any other films. So yeah, the workload is quite big, but also there's the pressure of having the music being right and appropriate for the film is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was your approach to the music?
Well, I mean, the music sort of was split between this scientific, futuristic world and also a medieval kind of. I mean, this was sort of more Arabic kind of sound. So it was how to localize the music without it being too kind of obvious, you know. Mm-hmm. So to use certain elements and instruments that nodded to a particular region, but weren't really kind of saying, okay, now we're here, so here comes this instrument or whatever. It was more trying to find an original way of approaching the landscape and approaching the I guess the countries that the film was going through.
Mm-hmm. And do you like the games too?
Yeah, I don't mind the games. Yeah, I've enjoyed playing the games when I have. When I have played it, they're fun.
And so now about Alien Covenant. So how did you start your work? How did you come to the project?
I was contacted by producers, my agent, and they said that Ridley Scott was interested in talking to me about possibly doing the music, and I kind of didn't really take it seriously. I thought it was sort of like, well, there's probably 5 other composers as well, but yeah, it turned out that they were serious. So yeah, and then I met with him at his place, and we watched the film together, and then we had lunch and talked about what I could possibly bring to the film and what he was wanting of the film, and he had some of my music from previous films over the cut edit that he had, and and then it kind of went from there. He sort of liked what the ideas I had, and then away we went.
What was it to work with Ridley Scott?
It's great. It's fantastic. I mean, it's a kind of once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, these kind of directors are of that generation. You know, they're obviously getting older, and to kind of have the experience of watching him work and working with him and collaborating was amazing. And but kind of like I said in the thing, it's like I think some directors I've worked with that I think are amazing in terms of like, and Ridley as well, that I've really enjoyed working with. They all kind of approach it in the same way. They're very open and allow you to kind of find unique things.
Mm-hmm. And well, an idea to use that Goldsmith score from the first movie, or the Horner from the second.
Yeah, that was he'd sort of already in the cut that I watched. He'd used that at the beginning of the film, and I thought it was a really great idea because it could offset. It's a nice kind of warm comfort feeling for the audience to walk in and start hearing that music again, and kind of feels like they're in Ridley's hands, you know, rather than any other director doing Alien. And then to kind of cut that off at some point and move off into a totally new direction. I like that as a concept.
Almost the end. What are your current projects?
Working on my brother's new film at the moment called the True History of the Kelly Gang, which is it's an Australian it's a true story based on an Australian bushranger myth. So which they're shooting at the moment. So working on that, and there's another one, but I haven't really talked about it.
Great. Thank you for the interview.
Pleasure.